All right. Okay, I think, let me search this up real quick. Gotta pull up the comment section. There we go. All right. How's everybody doing tonight? What's going on? How are you? How's your day? Happy Friday. How's your weekend going? Okay, and then let me fix this overhead camera here. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name's Sean. I run mailworks.com, where I design and sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories like this neck gaiter, right? This one isn't actually on the store right now, but it will be soon. But things like that. And tonight, I'm working on some saddlebag covers. So I've got my saddlebags, my toolkit, and my saddlebags, toolkit, helmet down here in the basement. And we're putting this on top of the saddlebag, right? And I got the leather lacing in the mail on its way. And I've got the other one started. So that's what I'm working on tonight. And as per usual, let me grab this first one. So initially, I wanted a large diamond with 3 trailing diamonds, but the way that I placed this originally didn't leave me room for 3. I only had room for 2. And as I'm fiddling around, I realized that I have this whole space here with which I can add another diamond. So, currently doing that instead of working on this second saddlebag cover that's not yet completed, but we're getting there. Add a little more and then make it a little cooler, and we'll be good to go. Someone is stomping around upstairs. So I did get some supplies in today. This was a small ball I made, small chainmail sphere I made not too long ago, and I ordered 250 ball bearings, thinking that would be enough, and it's about 2/3 full. So I got that in, and then I got some tumbling media. So cool, thank you. I got some ceramic tumbling media, Poly's plastic. Gonna try those out on a few of the more difficult pieces that I've had difficulty polishing, and then, or difficulty deburring. Rating Dean, how you doing? I got some stainless steel, if I can get that to focus, little bits of stainless steel to help polish up some pieces for anyone on the overhead camera. So I don't know how these are going to work. I'm hoping they work well. I don't think it'll be too much of a problem to make. What would you call them? They're called problematic rings. Less problematic. Throw them in a tumbler with some tumbling media, and they become compliant. So, I do have some more stuff on the way. Let's see here. I've got rings to finish this jelly cube. I don't know about finish. I have rings to add to this jelly cube. Right? Hey, Barb, how you doing? You never seem to catch my streams anymore? Well, thanks for stopping by. Got rings for this. This is just bright aluminum. It's not stainless steel or anything. But I have an old rubber band ball that is dying. The latex in it is degrading, right? And so it's all coming apart. So I'm going to throw that away. And I'm just going to make one enormous jelly cube for it. And I had already started this one. And I was like, let me just make this one bigger. Salvador, thank you for the follow. JJ, thank you for the follow. Jennifer, thank you for the follow. Absolute Disturbia, thank you for the follow. Juan Guzman, thank you for the follow. Razmataz, how you doing? Razmataz has a really cool cube, and it's called an infinity cube, and it's made up of 8 different cubes, and they'll form a rectangle and fold up to make another rectangle, and then fold up to make a cube, and then separate out. And it's a toy. I've only seen it as a kid, but they've got a whole chainmail jelly cube, infinity cube, which that was jaw-dropping. That was one of the coolest things I've seen in a while. Cool jelly cube. Thank you, Barb. It's coming along. What else did I order rings for? I ordered rings. I got a necklace over here I want to make longer. But that's about it. So, so yeah. As I was saying, if you want to ever seen Infinity Cube, go check out Razmataz. And right now we are on multiple platforms, so if you want an overhead view with a small picture of my face, see what I'm working on, maybe a little bit better than what you can see over here. We're on all the platforms that you would normally find someone streaming, all in the same username. You also made a spreadsheet calculator for Jelly Cube math because you figured out the algorithm for them. Nice. That's a question I get a lot. How many rings are in it? I have no idea how many rings are in that jelly cube. I never figured out the algorithm for them. What I'll do is I will weigh it, and then that'll be my determining factor. D's Nuts, thanks for the follow. Is that one of those usernames that you utter and then you're automatically banned from live for 30 days? I hope not. I know people do that. So as to what I'm working on right now, so I've got this European 4-in-1 diamond, and the edge is a modified elf weave, right? A variable elf weave. Okay, normally the rings all face the same direction in the center of these rings here, and these are opposing. And so for anyone over here, I've got this diamond in the center and then this edge, and it allows me to connect straight to some more European 4-in-1, the same ring size as what's in the center here. So I'm adding that to this piece so that we have 2, 1 for each saddlebag. Oh, thanks for the link. Godzilla is stomping around upstairs right now. I think they'll let the corgi out of his pen. But I usually just weigh the cubes and get a rough estimate of what the ring size has been, or at least that's what I've relied on up until now. What I need to do is add the cube algorithm to the Mailworks app. I don't know if I'm not trying to steal your work or anything, Razmataz, but Like I need to have something in there so people can figure out as a tool how many rings are in their jelly cubes. Just something to add to make the Mailworks app a little more usable. And then there are like ring sizes that they're common enough that, like, if I was to make a spreadsheet for different weaves that, like, I know them, you know them, we all know them kind of deal, but new people might not, so I should make a spreadsheet for that, for ring sizes for specific weaves. There was something else I wanted to add, and for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, and you're new to chainmail, and you want to learn more, in the link in my bio is the in my bio, there's a link to my Linktree, which has a link to the Mailworks app for Google and Apple. And or you can just go to the Google and Apple stores and download the app or search for it using the term Mailworks. Excuse me. That has all the resources I would have wanted when I first got started. And then some. It's got a place to find mini tutorials, a place, section to find mini ring manufacturers, a section for where different chainmail artists hang out, a place for people who have a place for chainmail artists to list their website. So if you like chainmail but don't want to make it yourself, but you want to purchase some or get a custom order done, there's a whole list in the Mailworks app of chainmail artists who love taking commissions. So go check out the app. And of course there's a plug for my store at the top, or close to the top, where I sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories. It really is a cool app. Thank you, Barb. So it's free. It's just something I hope that people can use to get into the world of chainmail, the art of chainmail, the discussion around it. I learn more stuff every day, and like I'm good. I'm pretty good at chainmail after 27 years. But there are people who have forgotten more than I'll ever know. So, and I certainly am not the best. And there's some people who have made some things that make it so that I never will be the best. But I am pretty good. I'm above average. It's the only thing in my life that I really excel at, to be quite honest. Never well, I don't know. I was good at the Army for a time. Mike, how you doing? How's that sword feel, man? Are you glad to be done? Are you done with it? Right? That's the finished rendition of that sword. How's it feel to be done? And is there any more work to be done on it? The thing's cool. Mike made himself a claymore. Walden, hi, what are you making, if it's okay to ask? It's absolutely okay to ask. I'm working on some saddlebag covers. Let me get the mostly completed one for my Road King. So this is going to be the new top of my saddlebag here pretty soon. We're making some chainmail for it. We've got, I don't know if it's a long way to go, but we've got a ways to go. I think the saddlebag and the gas tank bib. Sad, but glad to be done all the same. Yeah, you are done with it? Okay. Hi, Kate Parlevier Woodhouse. How are you, Kate? Walden, thank you for the follow. Sublime, thank you for the follow. Renee. Hi, babe. Where was I with this? There is. So what I've done is, what I'm doing right now specifically is I'm overcomplicating what I've already started with. So that giant sheet of chainmail I just showed you, that's going to go on top of the saddlebag, is getting another diamond. Because I said, why not? I had room for one. I wanted 4 to begin with. So am making one more. Yeah, so Walden, I spend my evening hours when I'm not otherwise engaged by family time, hanging out on the internet, making chainmail. And the larger aspect of this project, Christine, thank you for the share. The larger aspect of this project is to use up all the rings in my basement. And I ended up using up a lot of the rings and have made some really cool stuff. And I think the chainmail saddlebags, the Finnegan's Wake flag, and then a really large ringception project that I'm going to start, or that I've kind of started, are really going to finish off most of the rings I have. And then I'll start ordering more. Excuse me. From some of the ring manufacturers that I've never tried, and ordering rings for specific projects as opposed to what I did before, which was just randomly buy a whole bunch of different rings and kind of come up with stuff for them. And that ended up to a lot of the rings just sitting for an eternity. Christine, thank you for the follow. The rings sat, and I didn't have projects in mind for them, and I was unmotivated, and I didn't know what to do. And so finally I just started coming up with coming up with projects for each of the different rings, ring sizes and ring materials that I had laying around. And then some of the rings, like I had some titanium rings that had some really nasty barbs on them. And I didn't have a tumbler when I got them. And this was probably 20 years ago. And I finally got a tumbler, and I showed everyone my ceramic tumbling media earlier. Texas Angel, thank you for the follow. And originally when I was cleaning up the titanium rings with the barbs, I crushed a coffee cup and threw it in my tumbler along with the rings, and that cleaned them up pretty well. But I think that the what do you call it? The glaze from the coffee cup stained the titanium rings, and so they're a little bit darker than what I would have normally expected. So I'm going to throw them back in the tumbler with some fresh, shiny ceramic media and see what happens. So, and then there was a bunch of anodized rings that I had that I couldn't end up using because the anodization was, every time I opened the ring, the anodization would fade. So, most of your rings were bought for particular projects. They still mostly sit unused. Fair enough. that is a risk I'm running if and when I order more rings. I do have a couple more shirt ideas I want to do, so like I have some semblance of an idea of some of the things I want to make. Come on. So I've got this, I've got 3 shirts with 3 shirt stands, and I've got enough room for like another 3 or 4 shirt stands. So I'm gonna try and make 3 more chainmail shirts and just start filling up this space in my basement, along with the window ledge. All right. You bought 90,000 more rings to get your cube to 10 layers. That's awesome. I can crush up your non-glazed pottery. I'll never get to it. Give it a purpose. Well, I bought ceramic, babe. But thank you. Or I bought ceramic tumbling media. So I shouldn't have to worry about that, but I don't want to crush your pottery stuff. Even unglazed, I still like it. Alright. Mike is working on an enormous jelly cube. 750,000 rings is what he's going for. Gonna weigh 225 pounds. Gonna need a forklift to move it around the house. But I don't have any projects that aspirational. But I need money to buy Mike's cube when he's done with it. So please go to mailworks.com and get yourself something chainmail themed that, you know, chainmail doesn't go out of style. So you don't have to worry about that. So that I can purchase Mike's enormous jelly cube from him. And I know what you're saying, but why can't you just make it yourself? There ain't no way. So if you go to the large chainmail group on Facebook, the one that's called Chainmail, right? You can observe, you can join and observe the developmental process of Mike working on this jelly cube. You really like that hydraulic table lift? Yeah, you're going to need one. 2023 was the first year you bought no rings for close to 15 years. Wow. Even I, who has banned myself from buying rings, have bought rings. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I am trying not to, but the rings are to finish off some other projects that I started. So all for a good cause, right? In fact, I got some of those rings in today. Some 18 gauge 3/16 from Josh DiLiberto. JoshDiLiberto.com is another one of the ring manufacturers listed in the Mailworks app. Makes some fantastic stainless steel saw cut rings. They're a high quality stainless steel ring. I wish I could make rings as nice. And that's another part of this operation I got going down here in the basement, getting rid of all the rings I have on hand, finishing up all the projects I have laying around, is that I only want to work in certain materials moving forward. Gold if I can get my hands on it, but silver, stainless steel, titanium, and I really don't want to work in anything else. If I'm gonna make an inlay, then yes, I'll use anodized aluminum. But for really any piece that is going to take any kind of abuse, necklaces, earrings, bracelets, I want just high quality materials. I don't want to try making jewelry out of anodized aluminum. A lot of people do. Don't let me knock it. It's perfectly legitimate to do that. Just not something I'm going to do. I'll never work in brass and bronze again unless I get a real odd request. They tarnish too easily for me. It's like I'm okay with the stuff that I have done in brass and bronze, but not something I really want to continue to work in at this time. It's a nice material to work in, right? Don't get me wrong, because it's easy to open, easy to close. They're not super strong, but they're, you know, depending on your ring size, they're durable enough, right? But like I said, they tarnish too easily for me. I don't want to constantly be cleaning things I've made with them. All right. So, come on. Yeah, so I did get some rings in today. I got a bunch of bracelets to finish up, and then I got a bunch of materials to start working on single strand Byzantine bracelets, similar to the one that I'm wearing. Hey Maria, thank you for the follow. So I've got a bunch of these clasps coming in with beads similar to that, right? For single strand Byzantine bracelets. I'm currently working on some saddlebag covers. This is the more complete one. So this is gonna go over the top of my saddlebag, right? And I'm adding, there was supposed to be a large diamond followed by 3 diamonds, but I ran out of space from where I put this large diamond, and so now I'm adding a diamond on the front here to both sides. So I've got one to add, and then I'm working on one more. All right. So I think I'll have the saddlebags down here. I want to get to lacing the chainmail to the saddlebags here within the next week. That's my hopeful timeline. Because then I'll have enough lace on hand, enough leather lace on hand to get through one for sure. So I've got, I didn't want to start and then run out of supplies. I've got less, I don't know, how much do I have? Half a spool left of this stuff. So once the other 2 spools get here, I won't have to worry about, like, oh no, I ran out. I have to stop. So I'm hoping next week start getting them laced up and it'll start looking like a professional project. Take it saddlebags are on your motorcycle? Yes, they are saddlebags for my Road King. And they are currently down here with me in the basement. So the whole project is do the tops of the saddlebags, do the toolkit, wrap that in chainmail, make a leather bib for the gas tank, put chainmail over the top of that, and then take the front and rear fender off and the gas tank and send it out to be hydro dipped in a chainmail pattern that I'll design on the computer. And then I will have a chainmail themed bike. And why? Because I can. And I needed a project to get rid of these rings. So all this blackened stainless steel that I have laying around, this was all supposed to be a shirt. And I got very far along with it, and then I ran out of rings. And I wasn't able to... Star Spangled Merch, thanks for the follow. I wasn't able to get more rings for a long time. So, and then the unfinished shirt sat, and finally I was like, to hell with it, I'll do something else. What have I done here? I'm doing something. Oh, I think I caught the ring the wrong way. No? The top is here. So I added something the wrong way at the top of this. That is going to be beautiful. Yeah, I hope so. Thank you. I'm hoping it comes out real nice. Okay, that goes there. And this goes here. I'd swear it was like that just a minute ago, and I just took rings off and put them back on for no reason, but now it's working for some reason. So, yeah, I am hoping it will be super cool, and then maybe one day I'll have money and I can do ridiculous stuff like do a chain conversion, because it's a belt-driven motorcycle, add a turbo, get a little more juice out of the engine. Like, it's a Road King, it only does 100 miles an hour max. Johnny, thank you for the follow. Radford Taxes, thank you for the follow. Yeah, so one day, if I ever have money to put into it, try and get a little more speed out of the bike, and I've thought about this before. I don't know how to go about doing it. I assume that you would have to like take the pictures of your bike yourself and then submit them, right? So once it's all done from front to rear with the gas tank and fenders hydro dipped and everything, right? That's something that I can perhaps get, you know, like published in some kind of biker magazine. Take it to car shows or something. Excuse me. Which would be fun. Not the goal here. It would be a cool side effect of, right? It would just be like, oh hey, this guy made this really cool bike, and it's like that's my artwork on the cover of a magazine or an insert in the magazine. You know what I mean? Depending on where you live, what about Bike Week? In Sturgis, or I could ride down to Florida. I'm in southeastern Wisconsin, so there's a lot of bike stuff that goes on here, but I am not. I've never been involved in the biker community up here. I have not had time, and this is now I have time, so. So I am excited. And then of course my motorcycle vest is covered in chainmail as well, so me and the bike will match. We'll have matching outfits. Oh my god. That's the best. Cody, thank you for the follow. So, and that's just this project, which has actually come along pretty quickly. I got a 2013 Road King. Do I sell my pieces? I sell some. Pork Chop, thank you for the follow. Trevi, I do sell some pieces. Most of what I sell is chainmail themed apparel and accessories on my website, right? So print items like this, clothing that has chainmail printed on it, different weaves and stuff. There's a really nice, what's it? It's a giant snug hoodie that we're doing. Got a lot of popularity with that one. Yeah, so, and Trevi, are you hanging out? Are you still here? I can snag a couple. Done with the vest to the club BS, too much political BS. You ride more since you left? Yeah. Well, my vest is not covered in patches or anything, and I've never ridden with the group or anything. That's always kind of just, like, I've never had time, and that has been my understanding from the outset, so. You looked at my side? It's all prints. You're in southeastern Wisconsin too? Oh, you're right. You're right near. Okay, so Trevor, you're hanging out. Let me show you stuff I make that I sell. 1, 2. All right. So stuff that I currently have available, and I just bought a bunch of supplies to make a bunch more stuff, is I just finished up this Thor's Hammer bracelet the other day. Right, it's got these cool claws on there. And a big old hook clasp, and then things like this textured center bead, a couple beads on the end. These are my dual strand Byzantine bracelets. It's got a buckle clasp. All of it's stainless steel except for the wings right here. Right? These two pieces, those aren't. But everything else is. One's like this skull. It's got a skull here. Skull in the centerpiece. One more skull. Another textured one. And all the rest are either skulls or unfinished right now. Yeah, these aren't listed on my website. You can, like, you'll find them here when I'm streaming about them or when I make videos about them and stuff. But all my website is print stuff, and everything that I make gets sold, you know, through my social media and stuff. They're $1.50. Yeah, the skull one is nice. I have a skull and crossbones on mine. So, and the reason I don't list them on my website is because I'm bad at taking pictures, and I'm bad with videography and photography, and every time I do, right, it just looks like crap. So maybe one day I'll list them there. But not right now, right? Like, I'm invested. The next investments are an anodizer and then a rivet ring setup. And I've got a bunch of other, what do you call it? Like outdoor projects, family projects, stuff like that I got to do. So maybe one day they'll be listed on my website. But you have to have a steady hand, and for that color, it's a black background. Yeah, I've never had the right lighting. I've never, like, if you go to my TikTok page, there's a video with, I've got 2 of these with the Thor's hammer on there. Right? And they're on a mirror and they're circling around, and it's a decent video and it had a cool sound, and it wasn't great, but that's the best I got when it comes to filming stuff or how bad. Yeah, so if you see me share it on here, ask me about it or message me, and I will definitely. There will be more stuff available soon. I just ordered a bunch of supplies for that to happen. So we'll have lots of stuff to talk about shortly in the future. But for right now, like I said, the rest of my bracelets are either skulls or... Do I teach? No. I do not teach. If you're interested in learning more about chainmail, you can go to my link tree in my bio, and you can download the Mailworks app, which is an app I made for, well, I mean, to push my store, of course, but also to help new people to the hobby have all of the resources that I would have wanted when I first got started. It's got... where to find tutorials, where to find groups of people who make chainmail, where to find ring manufacturers, right? I try to pack as much stuff in there as I can. More stuff is coming, theoretically, maybe one day. So, yeah, if you want to start like trying to make chainmail clothes or something, that's it's a great resource to have, right? And that's the best I can do. I find that whenever I've tried to teach people, they quit whatever it is that I'm trying to teach them for forever. And so, where am I? I'm in southeastern Wisconsin, in the frozen tundra of the Great White North. And it's gross and cold. And where we get just gross amounts of snow. I used to live in Texas. I used to live in San Antonio for a number of years. And I miss it every time I'm cold. Every time I'm hot, though, I don't. Yeah, Kenosha. Fuck around, find out town. Alright. But no, I don't teach. Like, I'll be happy to show you something. I'll be happy to give you advice on something, but there's no... there are better ways to learn than from me, and like I said, everyone who I've ever tried to teach just quit doing it altogether, so... More than happy to provide advice. Love the cold, hate being hot. I despise the cold, and everything about it. So, I live down here in my basement, and I've got a gas fireplace over there if it gets too cold, and I don't have to go outside if I don't need to. But it's actually not been that bad yet, so knock on wood. Hopefully the winter will continue to be nice. Alright. Is that the last? I think it's the last one. Let me start trying to attach these. What do I do for food? I get my wife to throw it down the stairs at me. I did have a microwave down here at one point. But I've got a fridge, a freezer, 2 wine fridges that I need to get rid of, so, and a whole bar. Canned soups, yeah, she chucks canned soups directly at my head. Actually, she stole my microwave that was down here, so I don't get any hot food. Where am I at here? I want to do this. I'm probably going to end up taking these back out, but made with love, airmail. Yeah, exactly. But no, I spent the first couple of years really hating just the amount of snow that we got, and wow, I sound like the nanny. The amount of snow that we got. Sorry for your ears. I would dread the winter every year, and then this year I think I finally just, like, my soul's been crushed enough that I've just given in, and just accepted my fate. So I gotta take this apart a little bit, but shouldn't be too terrible. All right, Pork Chop, have a good one. Snow's on the way finally. Hey, if you appreciate snow, good on you. All right, so I was working on, so this is the large diamond right here. This is the last section I have to put into the second saddlebag, right? And then I've got some already finished chainmail to add to it to lengthen it out a little more, and then we'll keep going from there because I need to use up all the rings as best as possible. So real chainmail. Will real chainmail stop bullets? No. Butted chainmail like what I'm making right now won't, like, stop an arrow or anything, right? It's not like if you were to get a knife slashed across you while you were wearing it, it's more protective that way than it is, you know, a direct piercing threat, right? With that said, Neptunic makes welded shark suits that I think would be suitable for a zombie apocalypse style get up, you know, if the zombies take over, get a shark suit. And Berserker Dwarf. Berserker, thank you for the follow. Okay, yeah, so if zombies take over, get a Neptunic shark suit. I think that'd be a great preventative measure. That's my plan, anyway. However, getting, what do you call it? Okay. Getting, like, piercing resistant armor, you really would prefer, like, plate mail or something? And or not to be stabbed in the first place, but for the sake of this dot experiment, there is butted mail, which is what I'm making right now, where the two ends of the rings butt together. There is riveted mail, which is historically what you'd see. There's split rings, which is like key rings, essentially woven into a chainmail pattern. That all works to make chainmail. And then there is theta rings, which are they're rings with a bar down the middle, You'll have to look them up, right? And so each one of those is going to cause a different amount of resistance to attack of some kind. And then the weave that you use is going to increase the attack prevention, right? Like if you use, and then the material. If you use stainless steel, right, you're doing pretty good. Copper, not so much, right? If you use E4-in-1, okay, like we know that I'm trying to find an example. If you made a shirt made out of, well, that's probably not a good example. Strips of Byzantine might do okay, but probably not great. I have, okay, this is aluminum, right? But it's pretty solid, so chances of someone stabbing through this are pretty slim. It's very dense. It's made of a heavy ring gauge. You can probably just knock someone out with this too. So it all depends on the material you use, the ring size that you use, and I do not recommend making, you know, armor that you're going to fight with or use to defend yourself with this. Right? I will eventually, like I'm working on getting a riveting setup to rivet rings and making cool pieces with that, but that's, you know, probably more so this spring when I'll have time for that. And then it's riveted shirts and all kinds of fun stuff. Tactical mail, yeah. Now you can, I know people who've used a chainmail loincloth for, like a loincloth apron for paintball. And I couldn't find a picture of it. I was looking to make a video out of it the other day. Could not find a picture, but I know it exists. It's awesome. Thanks, Scott. How you doing? But that's the only armor on a person I've seen where it was, you know, yeah, okay, you could go home, make some butted mail, slap it on a belt, hang it over your groin, and call it a day, you know? There are some pieces I've made that I would confidently walk around in if I was in fear of getting stabbed. But I've also been doing this for 27 years and kind of know the tolerances of things. Pretty good, getting ready for the big storm that was coming our way. Snow. The dirty S word. Alright. Yeah. Oh. Wait, are you near me, Scott? I'm in southeastern Wisconsin. Are you near me? Am I getting snow? God. Isn't that what Pork Chop just said, that we're getting snow? He's in the area. Connecticut. Okay. Whew! Dodge that bullet. Alright. I got a buddy from Connecticut. Do you know my friend who's from Connecticut? It was always like that in the Army, right? I'd be stationed in Texas and be running around somewhere, and they'd be like, "Do you know so and so? He's in the Army." Can't say that I do. My grandson, he was stationed there at Fort Lauderdale. No, ma'am, didn't meet him. Different branch of the military. But yeah, it happened all the time. And my buddy Glenn. Do you know my buddy Glenn? He's from Connecticut. I was at his house the other day, and I have like a man cave, right? It's in my basement. got a bar, a couch. I need to get a TV and a coffee table, right? But other than that, I've got my workstation here. I've got 3 tables all that way, full of crap I'm working on. And then, you know, my guitar, and then all my chainmail stuff laid out, right? And so he was, they just bought a house recently, and he was showing me his man cave. And he's got like all his Warhammer 40K stuff in there, which is pretty cool. And all of his coins from the military and stuff, and he's getting himself set up. I was like, all right, buddy. All right, where are we at here? Bracelets for your bro. Okay, that's not one for sale. We've got a nice textured one with multiple shiny beads on it. Right? We've got... do this one at a time. Got one skull there, the skull centerpiece, and then the skull there. And they all have these buckle clasps on them. Another one with a center, textured center bead there, and some shiny accoutrements. Right, again with the buckle clasp, and then this last one got the Thor's hammer, a couple of Raven's claws on there, with the hook clasp on it. Right. Julio, thank you for the follow. So those are the ones I have for sale right now. I've got multiple of the skulls and 2 of the Thor's hammers, and I do like this Thor's hammer because it's stamped on both sides. So, it's a nice piece. Okay. MROMQKWJ, thank you for the follow. Scott Richard, thank you for the share. Alright. I need to take this off here, because this is where we're adding the next diamond. Alright. Don't waste gifts, send it to his Cash App. I don't think anyone was sending me gifts, but please don't send anything to my Cash App. I will never contact someone through the internet asking for money. I might show up at their house and engage in what results in blunt force trauma, but I'm not going to ask people for money through the internet. Alright. And if you want to send me money, don't do it through the internet. How much one's the skulls? It's $150. Alright. So, for the bracelets that have there's 5 beads on this, right? So, that one, this, the center one, and then 2 more, right? Those are $150. I've got some more that are just coming out soon that'll just have the center bead, and they're different styles, and those will be $125. And then the single strand bracelets with this style of bead on there, those will end up being $75 when I get those made. So, and if you want one, just message me and we will get that transaction completed. I just completed a transaction recently. I don't do a lot of custom work, and I don't do like booths or anything right now. Maybe one day. Finishing up all the stuff in my basement first. W-Mans, Win-Mans. Yeah. Got to figure out how to connect this next diamond, I want this out of the way here. All right. So, first thing is to make sure that we have the right angle here. That's not correct. Flip it over. It's still like, what's going on here? These have to match up at some point. Did they match up the first time and I just missed it? There we go. Okay. Drewski, thank you for the roses. How are you tonight? Okay. Now, I want this like so. I'm going to remove these two end rings and connect them to this diamond that we just finished. Okay, and then basically that's attached and we can just start connecting the blackened stainless to everything. So okay, and then one. Flame, thank you for the follow. Okay. Don't need these anymore. So we've got this one for people looking from down, above. We now have a fourth diamond on the front. And for everybody watching over on TikTok, right? So now we need to just weave in some blackened stainless around this diamond right here. So on this one, what time is it? 9:30. Same thing. We've got the three diamonds, right? And then this space right here, we're gonna have to cut out a section for the diamond to go, right? And I've got this clump of blackened stainless to add, so that's what I'm working on. What a night. So the next piece I have on hand is the toolbox, which I don't expect that to take too long. It's not, there's a small area. I'm just adding a little bit of chainmail to the top of it. I don't want to wrap the whole thing because that's going to make fitting it onto the bike a real issue. And then I've got to go to Tandy to buy some leather for the rest of the gas tank bib. One piece at a time. And after that, in the midst of that, right, I'm working on a really large ringception piece. And I'm working on a large inlay, and I'm working on a bunch of small jewelry pieces, and so let me grab a piece real quick, and I'll show you something. For anyone watching, these are what are called ringception pieces, right? You take rings and make them into a chainmail weave and turn that weave into a ring, and then weave those chains of chainmail together, right? And it can become very meta very quickly. So this is a Byzantine one that I did, right? For anyone wanting to take a look. And then this is a full Persian one that I did, right? And I was going to try and do a weave called Sandworm with this one, but I ran out of rings. I ran out of rings to make the rings. Mr. Brian, thank you for the follow. So, and then there's this cool piece, which is a cubeception piece, which is where I have one cube going through the other. And if I were to make this again, I'd do a false transition, because it's just a mite off. But that's one cube going through another. So that's a ringception piece. That's one of the, I'm making a really large one, a relatively large. And it's going to be, like, I might be hyping it up a little much just because I can't stop thinking about it, and it's like I want to work on it, but I'll get there. So now we'll just go around the edge of this diamond I added and start putting some of this blackened stainless steel back in place. Stevens, thank you for the follow. See how much we can get. Boy, words are hard. I'm gonna try and see how much of this I can get done tonight. I don't have a lot of time. We might go a little longer than normal. It is Friday. We are hanging out. Okay. So trying to think of all the stuff that I ordered. I ordered a bunch of clasps. I ordered some supplies to finish up a bunch of unfinished projects that have been laying around, from necklaces to bracelets. I ordered some tumbling media, which I'm going to experiment with. So I'm hoping. I have the titanium dice bag that I made, and I want to get that like anodized and finished and possibly sold. We'll see. Those were the titanium rings that I had to bring back from the grave, basically, where they had a lot of barbs on them. Michael, thank you for the follow. Michelle, thank you for the follow. They had a lot of barbs on them, and I didn't have a tumbler at the time, and it was just a mess. But I got them all cleaned up. And they're in this all woven into a dice bag. And I just need an anodizer to anodize the titanium, and should make it pretty cool. So maybe, trying to think, maybe next month. Want to get that. We'll get set up to get some riveted rings going. Start working on some riveted projects, which will be fun. I've got a welder. Bunch of projects that I got to work on. Need some rings welded on them. It's not a common thing to weld your rings. I know a few people who do it. Like, that's their shtick. A lot of stuff does not need to be welded. And say things like aluminum, anodized aluminum, you're not going to be welding. Bronze, you would be brazing if you were connecting it. And Derek, thank you for the follow. There's just, you know, no reason to, especially, okay. The black and stainless steel, I don't think it'll weld at all. The regular stainless steel that I'm using is machine cut, and that you can weld it, but it's not going to be great, right? It's not going to be a great weld. So, and this is a saddlebag cover. It's essentially a static piece. Okay, so unless, you know, I really get going on being horizontal on the highway, like, I'm not worried about any damage to come to this. Aaliyah, so I'm making saddlebags, saddlebag covers for the lids of my saddlebags on my Road King, right, out of chainmail. That's going to go over the top, and then it'll get laced on as soon as I get my drill down here and start, I can get the lacing from Tandy Leather. So it's a large weight I'm adding to my bike for no reason other than that I can. You like it? Thanks. Vicky, thank you for the follow. Yeah, the whole bike project, like, the bike is going to match the vest. It's going to be all chainmail themed when it's done. Hopefully, I would love to have all of it done by this spring. But there's some... Man, thank you for the follow. Logistics issues I got to figure out with getting the tank and the front and rear fender hydro dipped. Like, I don't think it's a problem getting it done. It's just... There's a guy here on TikTok who can do it, who looks really competent. I like his work. I'd love to send all the bike parts down to him to get dipped, but he's in Missouri, and it's doable, but I got to get the pieces off the bike, cleaned up, to sent to UPS or FedEx, shipped down to him, and then back, you know, hydro dipped, clear coated, sent back to the shop, and then to be put back on the bike. I think the shop said like a week is all they would be willing to hold my bike for. So if I can figure out how to take all the pieces off myself, I'd need a jack for that. So that's more money invested in, you know, equipment I don't necessarily want, but probably need, you know. Alright. But I also don't want to have a bike just sitting on a jack stand next to other vehicles in the garage. for a week or for however long it takes. So, and then, of course, if I do it, we're relying on my mechanical ability, which isn't insignificant. Like, I can watch a YouTube video and figure stuff out, and taking all those pieces off a bike are on YouTube for sure, right? But also, I wouldn't know what I was doing really, and you know, I'd have to put it all back together. And are we really gonna trust me? Maybe. I'm sure it'd be fine. I don't know. Who wins in a fight between Captain Crunch or Chester Cheetah? Like, who's the coolest, or who has the better cereal? What kind of fight? What kind of fight we talking? I'm gonna go with Chester Cheetah, because I do not like Captain Crunch. Oh, in hand-to-hand combat, I'm gonna go with Captain Crunch because he probably has a gun or a cannon of some kind, or firearm, or a blade. Going with Captain Crunch as to that fight. Shane, how you doing? All right. So, yeah, like I said, I don't know if I trust myself to take my bike that far apart and then put it back together competently. I'm sure it'd be fine. And I've got most of the tools I would need already on hand, except for a jack. I don't want to rig it up to where I have some, 800-pound motorcycle lifted up on a couple of pieces of wood. You know what I mean? So, we'll see. Wonder why they never used chainmail on The Walking Dead? That's a good question. I don't know. I was talking earlier about Neptunic shark suits, and if a zombie apocalypse ever happened, and you happen to, find a Neptunic shark suit, it would probably serve you really well. And for those of you who don't know, Neptunic shark suits are 20 gauge 1/8 rings of welded European foreign one. Hello, sorry for bothering you. Want to offer promotion of your channel, viewers, blah, blah, blah. No. Go away. I don't have a mod on Twitch, so I'm just going to have to tolerate this person. Do I make my own jump rings? Not anymore. In addition to, like, I've already got the welder, I need the anodizer, I need the riveted ring set up, but I am moving towards making my own jump rings again, making my own butted rings, making my own riveted rings, and making rings for welding and for all sorts of fun stuff. But as of right now, I don't. I did for a long time, and the quality that I was able to make when I first started, a ring with no barbs, that was shiny, right? Like, took me a long time to figure out how to make a halfway decent ring. And when I discovered that there were chainmail ring manufacturers out there in the world, I pretty much stopped making all my own. But because I am, building out a custom shop where I can build and make whatever I want, I will have a whole setup to make all my own rings if I need to. Will I still order a lot of what I make? Yes. Because at the end of the day, my job is to weave rings. It is not to make them. Right? Making rings is a whole other skill. And props to the people who make it, who make their own rings and everything. But it's not something I want to do. I'll do it just because I want to have everything that I need on hand for the most part. But like I said, that's not my skill set. Tried it, made a shirt and a tie to say you did it. There you go. Yep, I've done it. It's like, I have fun making stuff. I don't have fun. I was hand cutting rings as well, you know, with some Knipex. Or, yeah, Knipex bolt cutters or something. And, like, they were fine. It made rings, you know. I made projects out of it, but I wanted to move over here. At the end of the day, the people who specialize in making chainmail rings are much better at it than me, and I'm much happier when I am weaving rings and not making them. If I had, once I get the whole setup where I can manufacture saw cut rings of any size that I want, then perhaps I'll sing a different tune about it. But I do not want to hand cut rings right now. How much is a chainmail shark suit? $7,500. So I need one. Please go to mailworks.com and purchase an item so that I can get my $7,500 so that I can get a Neptunic shark suit. Please. It's the only reason I have a website. To make money for a chainmail shark suit. It's as good a reason as any. Oh, and I also need money because they make these chainmail shoes in... what's the website? It's in Europe, right? And oh, I don't see the link in front of me. Excuse me. What? No, don't do that. What are we doing? They make these chainmail shoes, but they're like 200, 300, 400 pounds, and it's like $1.25 per pound. Some conversion rate like that, to where it's more expensive to buy it in dollars. And yeah, so I got stuff for sale on my website, and you know, I sell stuff while on live. Just message me about it, right? Help me save up for my chainmail shark suit and my chainmail shoes. Like to hell with bills and tuition payments and any of that stuff, right? Yeah, I do. Oh, and at no point in time, if I ever owned a shark suit, at no point in time would I ever wear it in the water with sharks to go swimming. So it's literally something for me to just have as a vanity item. You will never catch me in the water with sharks. Ever. Actually, you're highly unlikely to ever catch me in the water again. 2 years ago, I had pulled a little girl out of a hot tub and had to give her CPR. And then I don't remember if it was before or after that. I was on a trip to Boise, Idaho, and we were floating the Boise River. And I had one foot outside of the raft that we were in, and my foot got caught in between the raft and the footing of a bridge, right? And I got just pulled out of the boat by my foot getting caught, and I got dragged by the boat across the concrete, and next thing I know, I was drowning. And after that, I have not been back in the water. I was like, you know, to hell with this, not doing that again. So whether I have a chainmail shark suit or not, you will probably not find me in the water regardless. Not anytime soon. I'm probably okay now. I'd probably get in the water now, but the family was all, can we get a pool? I was like, no. No, we're not getting a pool. Do you want to die? We're all going to die if we get a pool. And I probably reacted poorly. But we did not, in fact, get a pool. Not like an in-ground one or an above-ground one. We had a inflatable one for when my kid was little. All right, where are we at here? Looking good. The One Chiller, thank you for the share. Pools are just high maintenance nightmares. Never again. Yeah. Yep. That's another thing. Like, I do not want to be a pool boy. Out there, cabana boying it out. Like, no thank you. Skimming a pool is not, you know, with a skimmer is not my idea of fun. It's like, my wife grew up with one her whole life. She was a big swimmer. And, you know, if we lived in Texas, where, you know, we lived before, where it was, you know, 10,000 degrees all the time, yeah, okay, maybe I could understand getting a pool that you could be in year round. But where we're at in southeastern Wisconsin, it's, you know, it's freezing outside right now, and I'm not going to get in a pool right now. No way. So I didn't want to invest money in something that I was only going to be able to use like 3 months out of the year, because the other 9 months out of the year, it's winter up here. And I don't ever plan on moving, so no pools for me. No swimming with sharks. I just want a shark suit as a vanity item. Does the chainmail protect from puncture or pressure of bite? So it prevents from puncture, right? But it's not foolproof. And Neptunic says that on their website. It's like, this will help prevent you from getting injured by a shark. However, because shark bites are dynamic in their nature, we can't say it's a 100% guaranteed that you're not going to have, you know, some mauling from a shark. As far as the pressure goes, the chainmail will prevent some of that, but, you know, you've got a wild animal clamping down on something, and my understanding is they get their teeth caught in the rings of the chainmail and they don't like it and they let go. So you might get a good, and then, you know, like glomp, and then they let go. And that's what I've seen on Discovery Channel. That's all I have to go off of. So, I've never done it. So the chainmail would, from my understanding, decrease the pressure of the bite just through like surface area tension. But it's not something I ever plan on experiencing. That's looking pretty good. We're coming right along. Eddie, thank you for the follow. Oh, my nose. My nose. Oh, goodness. Okay. So, see if we can finish off this little section here. Just kind of going ring by ring here. Which, you know, this part isn't fun. I know a lot of people who will, they'll close a bunch of rings and then weave them all together. And I hate that. I hate having to pick up a ring more than once. And these are all rings that were removed from this sheet of blackened stainless in order to put the regular stainless diamonds in. How much does a suit weigh of the how much does a Neptunic shark suit weigh? I don't know off the top of my head. I'm sure it says somewhere on the Neptunic website. It's not a lot, right? Because the rings are super tiny. I would say if you're walking around with it, it's probably not insignificant. But let me grab a butcher's glove and I'll show you the ring size. All right. So we can do a size comparison here. This is close to what they use in the shark suits. I'm not 100% certain if it's exact. And then this is what I'm working with right here. Right? I can work in rings this small. It's, you know, not a real big issue. But that's, for everyone watching overhead, there, huge ring size difference in what would be effectively ring size similar to that of a Neptunic shark suit. Only Christ, thank you for the follow. Just a Dad, thank you for the follow. Matt, same, thank you for the follow. Angela, thank you for the share. At Tampa Heat, it deflects the slashing action from the teeth. Yeah. So, my understanding is that sharks bite into it and then they don't like it and they let go, but you'll get a good, you know, good glomp onto your hand. Alright. So, some of these closures are atrocious. I'll have to go back over this. I was going to mention, right? So, this is very fine chainmail fabric, right? And this is not light. It would leave a mark, right? Not as heavy as plate, but heavy enough, yeah. And this is a very small ring size, so I'm sure that a Neptunic shark suit is not that heavy, right? I imagine it's probably less than 10 pounds with just the rings, right? Once you start adding, because all their stuff is customized to their wetsuits, and so once you start adding that, I'm sure the weight adds up to be a little more, but I can't imagine one of their whole suits weighing as much as one of my shirts. And my shirts are like 20, 25 pounds. So, yeah. Chainmail is one of those things where, like, the weight all depends on the ring size, the ring size, the material, and the weave that you use, right? So if you, you know, something that is made from titanium is not going to weigh as much as something that's made in steel. So, all right. Be great to protect from road rash. Yeah, that's my whole bike vest is made from chainmail, so it's chainmail all over the top of a leather vest. And I don't ever want to go down wearing it, but, you know, hopefully it protects me real well. I'll have to be throwing sparks sliding down the highway. Excuse me. Okay, almost got this next section done. Usually I start out my streams with getting all sneezy. Oh, that may be a problem too. I was wondering something. Oh, no. Okay, cool. Checking my output going upstream. Seems to be doing fine tonight. The other night I was having problems with it. Yeah, so Neptunic shark suits, butcher gloves, butcher aprons, right? Then there's all the cool old stuff that they made. There's a lot of like modern day examples of chainmail being used, right? And right now, you know, there's more people making chainmail, doing what I'm doing right here than, you know, ever. With more materials and more ring sizes, and the whole art of chainmail has kind of been exploding for the past, I'd say, 30 years. Main advantage of mail as a medievalist is relative frugality in cost and greater range of motion. Relative frugality in cost, as far as like manufacturing it, I don't know. My understanding is that back in the day, they would have multiple people working on one piece. And so, yes, a shirt could be done a lot faster, but also, you know, you had multiple people working on it. But I was of the understanding that chainmail was very expensive just because of the labor that went into it. Not that plate mail, or plate armor rather, has any less amount of labor. So, if I were going into a medieval time period, I would not want to only have chainmail at my disposal, and perhaps not at all. Just depends. Big Bad Dave, thank you for the share. West Dog, thank you for the follow. I am not a historian, so take anything I say with a grain of salt. My historical knowledge of chainmail is limited to what I've read online. I'm not a museum curator, and I only know about chainmail from what I've read in, you know, maybe a couple of historical documents. With that stop a spear, arrow, or sword in medieval times, you're more likely going to not stop a piercing attack, or a piercing attack is more likely to get through. Any type of slashing attack is going to be more defended by chainmail. In general, I'm going to go with no, just because there's several guys. There's a guy on here on TikTok. His name's Dash Rendar. I forget, Gains and Things. Anyway, he spends a lot of his time using medieval weapons against medieval armor and seeing, like, you know, what the best combo of what is. And, like, spears, war bows, he calls them. I don't know if they're like English longbows or what. And chainmail doesn't hold up well to a lot of the heavier bows that he uses and the heavier spears and stuff, you know. But, like, it's got the surface area, so if you hit it with a sword, it's not going to break apart. It'll stop a slashing blow just because of the surface area, right? I hope that made sense. So, could it? Yeah. Is it likely? No. Especially not butted. Read Medieval Military Technology by Kelly DeVries was vital to your MA. There is a book that I want to get. I don't know if it's a textbook or not, but it's priced like a textbook. It's $180. And it's all about the chainmail stuff, but Let me, hang on, let me look that up. Alright. Alright, add to cart. Only one left in stock. Alright. It's in my cart on Amazon. I'll check it out. Can't guarantee that I'll order it or anything, but I will take a look. See if that's something I'm interested in picking up. Because, like, I'm not a historian and I don't want to be. It's like, this is the art form that I've chosen, right? And I'm all for learning more about it. I'm just, like, I don't know if that's a priority. So, but I'll take a look. I promise. It's in my Amazon cart, and I will probably get it. Like, the history of chainmail, as from what I understand, from what I've read, from being on the internet and doing this for 30 years, right? It's not, I couldn't source it out for you or anything, but I'm pretty sure it's mostly correct. There's a, it's like there are people who make really high quality chainmail rings, and I'm not one of those people. Maybe one day, but not right now. It's like I could delve into the history of it, but what good would it do me? It's like I could learn to make a really good chainmail ring, but what good would it do me when, you know, there are already people who focus on that stuff, and I am focused on. I just want to put my rings together. That's what I want to do. Thousands of them, over and over and over again, for no apparent reason, except to make cool shit. So, mail was relatively frugal, though still expensive in absolute terms, more widely used. That's a fair argument. Like, I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. The thought of it being frugal. Like, it kind of prima facie makes sense. Prima facie where it means, like, on its face, right? Like, it's self-evident. I'm using prima facie correctly, right? Here I am trying to sound smart. So, like, on its face, like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But also expensive. So do not think that I'm trying to argue against what you're saying, right? Like, I'm just here to put rings together. That's all. There was a museum curator doing a historical ring repair on a chainmail shirt in a museum somewhere, and I followed them, and then I never saw another video ever again. I was sorely disappointed. So that I never thought would be like an interesting thing to me, but I guess as curators they have to know a whole bunch of stuff about very different historical things and how to preserve and repair them, which was a whole aspect of the job that, like, I had no idea. Plate was very expensive. Cheapest was boiled leather. Alright. That's one thing. Plate mail is, I would love to learn how to plate. I keep using that word. Plate armor is something that I would like to learn how to make. That's So there's an aspect to historical suits of chainmail, right, that I don't incorporate into my work. And that is expansions and contractions, which is where you add or subtract a ring in a, like, see this row right here? If you added a ring right there, that would be an expansion, and down here, if you took away a ring, that would be a contraction, right? So all throughout medieval suits of armor, you will find expansions and contractions, and that was to custom tailor each chainmail suit of armor to the wearer, right? I do not do that. I don't foresee myself doing that. I think that is not a skill I will ever master, right? One, because I'm really only making chainmail for me, and two, because it's a tedious technique. So I don't know how they did it, but they did. Alright. Where are we at? What time is it? I'm not even watching the time. Oh, it's 10:12. Oh my gosh, it's past my bedtime. Alright, let me finish this row off. Alright, for anybody hanging out, my name's Sean. I run mailworks.com, where I design and sell chainmail themed print apparel and accessories. Right? So like cloaks and hooded blankets and regular blankets, and we got a couple of hoodies. We'll have more soon. We got a giant snug hoodie with a chainmail print on it that's super comfortable. And if you ever want to see me own a Neptunic chainmail shark suit, please go and buy my stuff. If you want to learn more about making chainmail, if you go to the link tree in my bio, there is a link to the Mailworks app. And the Mailworks app is basically a giant list of resources I wish I would have had when I first got started 27 years ago. Where to find chainmail ring suppliers, where to find groups of people who make chainmail, where to find tutorials, and a list of chainmail artists if you're interested in getting some custom work done or purchasing some chainmail from someone today, which I highly recommend doing. So even if you're not interested, you should go download the app and then look at the list of artists and all their stuff, right? I have a whole like end of show spiel, and it all just went away from my brain. But yeah, go to the link tree, download the app, check out the artists, get a commission, purchase some from one of their websites. That helps support the chainmail community. Or if you're interested in learning more, download the app and get started in your journey in chainmail. Right? It's super fun. You'll never have money for anything else, because I don't ever have money. So, one day, and then I'll have a Neptunic shark suit. Alright, so thank you for hanging out. I do appreciate everyone who's, commenting, sharing, following. Please, follow along. I am trying to get to 10,000 followers so that I can just use my computer for all my streaming and not have to do the phone and computer combo that I'm doing right now. Yeah. I'm going to go finish off my night. I do have a couple of things before bedtime. And you all have a wonderful evening. All right. I will talk to you all later. Oh, that's another thing. I'm usually on over the weekends and not on Tuesdays and Thursdays throughout the week. So come join me later on in the week, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye. Come on, off button. Push the button. There you go. There we go. All right, and for everyone watching on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, there's a link to the Mailworks app on the Mailworks page, and there is a link to, or no, you can just use myusername.com, mailworks.com, and go to mailworks.com so that I can get a Neptunic shark suit. Buy yourself something nice. You all have a wonderful evening. I'll